Hi there, welcome to this edition of Joy News Interactive. It's a beautiful Tuesday and I'm glad that you joined me here. We are live on multi-TV, also on DSTV channel 421, Go TV channel 144. We are also live on Facebook at Joy News on TV. Now let's start our interaction with this. President Akufo-Addo says he will fight corruption and prosecute culprits. Now he actually said that he will create an office for a special prosecutor to aid this cause, and I'm sure you know all the debate and arguments about that. But not everyone believes he can do this. Anti-corruption campaigners say President Akufo-Addo's approach to fighting corruption fails to exude confidence. They say the president is sidelining existing national frameworks to tackle the problem, and he's instead waging the war on graft with mere statements and promises. A member of the African Union Advisory Board on Corruption, Daniel Batidam, says it was unfortunate that a president has failed to support the National Anti-Corruption Action Plan. For instance, now, do you share similar sentiments? Let's get onto Facebook because we know just yesterday we discussed some allegations and counter allegations of corruption, involving A+ and a deputy chief of staff. We heard from the Ghana Integrity Initiative about dealing with this. And just over the weekend, when the president spoke at the National Delegates Conference, he spoke about corruption and the fact that he's heard all these complaints. He will work to make sure that anyone who's found culpable will be dealt with. But do you agree, for example, with Mr. Batidam when he says the president is sidelining existing structures that have been put in place to deal with corruption? Well, what do you think? Let's get onto Facebook. Desmond says the office of the special prosecutor is on the way, so no need to rush. And so this anti-corruption action plan was in existence and corruption was rampant in this country. He is asking, Khalil Maestro says, why should I believe the word of a politician? It's very unfortunate the president is still going around promising as if he's still campaigning for votes. Some of the supposed corruption scandals is pure thievery, but because of our borrowed two-known English, we always call it corruption. Allah save this nation from these thieves called politicians. Elvis Asay says, Daniel Batidam, okay, he's quite harsh over there, says, please shut up. Where was Nakap when JM and his government were looting the nation of on an industrial scale? Okay, just in case you don't know what NACAP is, it's the National Anti-Corruption Action Plan. And Wellington Achishogbi says, if you live in a country where the blood of tribalism is thicker than the blood of Christ, how can you fight or arrest corruption? Interesting. And Samuel Kwao says, the question is, are those national frameworks working or not? If yes, why are we crying? And if no, why are we demonizing the new effort of fighting corruption? Nana Ampa says, please, which of the Batidam? I'm sure it's the Batidam, you know. Yeah, Daniel Batidam. And Komla Ezono says, mere words, no actions. And Godwin Sapong actually has an image of two animals giving themselves a high five. I don't know what over. But Kwabena Ade Yankee says, true. I wanted him to sound more radical. And Reginald Mahama Addo says it's a fact. And Charles Chemfi says, bam. I'm sure when he says bam, means to say, well, Mr. Batidam, you got a spot on just what I've been wanting to say. So I'm sure we'll still be having this conversation about issues on corruption and I mean, until all these allegations and counter allegations end, and of course until we see some real action, we'll still be talking about corruption. But away from that, social media has been buzzing since last week with a simple message, and that message is that the Deputy Agric Minister William Keitu should resign. In fact, some have gone beyond asking him to resign to say he should be sacked. This follows comments people have described as unguarded. Let me quote what the Deputy Minister said, which has created all this brouhaha. Now he says, if anybody who's in the north says his farm was destroyed by fall army worms, the person must prove it. He goes on to say our brothers, that's to say in the north, It's so difficult to deal with them. He says that he's lived there for 27 years. He speaks the Bani like a Tagomba and all that. Now, he's apologized. William Ketu is asking Ghanaians, particularly people of the North, to forgive his unguarded tribal comments. Mr. Ketu claims he did not think about the possible consequences of his comments. Yeah. So, should this bring closure to the matter? I've seen a lot of people on Facebook saying, you know what, we don't want to have any of this in our country. You are a dignified person. You shouldn't be making such statements. So just go. You goofed and so go. But do you think, like Peter McMahon said, just let it go. He's apologized. Or you think, pack your bags and go home? Well, this one says something small about our northern people, and they think the world must come to an end. He's asking why. He has 37 replies. 37 replies. I'm sure a lot of people will not be happy about this. This comment by, could we just scroll up a bit to see his name? All right. Joyce Amoa. So Joyce Amoa says, people say all kinds of things about Ashantis, and she goes on and on about that and thinks that. And now Kamle comes to say, you know what, Joyce, don't add salt to injury. Okay, you know how salt feels like when you pour it in your soup. I'm sure she's trying to say, don't make this more painful than it is, or more distasteful than it is. Joyce Amoa comes back and says, how do you mean? Ghanaians hate the truth, and that's our problem. Marjoa says these people are just insecure, the little criticism, and they want the whole country to come to their rescue. Okay, so Marjoa thinks this is not an insult. It's not tribalistic, it's a critique. And Joyce Amoa says they feel intimidated by the least thing interesting. Right, so it goes on. Nuruddin Mohammed, obviously you can tell from his name that he is the Northerner, says, I don't argue with 5 years brain. Sorry, madam. All right, so it goes on and on and on and on. 37 replies. Interesting. The debate goes on. But whenever it comes to issues of tribe identity, people should be a bit more careful the kind of comments that are made. So quickly, let's move away from Joyce Amoa, her comments, and all the 37 replies. Interesting. You want to get onto our Facebook page if you have time and just figure out what is going on with that particular comment. But Opokwa Jaman Maxwell says, oh, big man, you are bringing us down. Don't beg anyone because you said the truth. It's interesting that people say this man is speaking the truth. He also has 27 replies, a few angry faces there reacting to his comment. But Komla Zono says, so all of us can be calling people names, and then after it has been disseminated by the media, we come out to say sorry. Why do we still jail cassava thieves after they show remorse and apologize? Interesting perspective there. He says he must resign to serve as a warning to those in authority that we put them there. And Dennis Obingeje says, hello, Joy News. What more can one do than to apologize for an unguarded statement? There are lots of happenings in Ghana that should be given much attention. Okay, like the One District, One Factory. Okay, when it was launched, we reported that, Dennis. MPP National Delegates Conference. Okay, we were there live. We brought you live coverage. SNIT saga, we've been discussing it ever. In fact, we broke it, etc. He goes on and on and on. And Dennis, I'm sure if you follow us keenly, you realize that we're touching on everything that needs to be touched. Sodo King Yao says, people have made worse comments than this in Ghana. Never apologized, and nothing happened to them. He's apologized. Let's forgive him and move on as a nation. On Heniba Ankoma Daman says, some Ghanaians think they are human than others. I don't support what the man said, but people say more insulting things about other tribes and nothing happens. It's time we call a spade and not a big spoon. We have some people who kill themselves like animals, but they want, oh, he goes on, I'm not sure what he's trying to say there, but Eto K. Joel says NPP's 110 confused family and friends government led by President Akufo-Addo has no good intentions for Ghana. That's what he says. If a minister is not fighting with a regional chairman, then it's a deputy minister insulting 3 regions in Ghana or invisible forces. If they are not beating Ghanaians, then it's Delta Force. He says this must not exceed 4 years. That's his opinion. And Steve Adams says he should just resign or get fired. That's the most irresponsible comment to be made by a public officer. He's frustrated by the incompetence he and his team has exhibited in fighting the army worms. He must go. And Donnie Bitka says, I'm surprised some people here who belong to whatever party are seriously defending this minister. He says we should be demanding an explanation to his unguarded comment because it's capable of causing tribal conflict. He should go to the north and apologize to the chiefs there and say, Sheikh or Sheikh. All right. So we know that the chiefs in the northern region actually plan to have a meeting today over this matter. We'll let you know what comes out of it. But let's just keep going on because this is one, you know, call it a mild campaign on social media. People are just saying, you know what, Mr. K, to just go home. You goofed. We don't want any of this. Just go home. Senior Patrice Sanchez says, you see how happy those in opposition are. He's asking, they just need such petty negative utterances from us and then hammer it through to the brim. Dear Northerners, please forgive him. Mistakes are meant for humans. After all, we are all Ghanaians. And Amo Bediako says, I think it's okay to put this matter to rest, fellow Ghanaians. Let's accept the apology and let him continue serving our country. My dear Northerners, please forgive him, why we beg. And Kichana Elvis says, at least he's learned some sense out of his abuse of the white man's language. Forgiveness is key, so let us forgive him. But he should be advised. He should always think before he says anything. For it said, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. Quickly, let's round this up here. Honorable Use JJ, I'm not sure he's an honorable in Ghana's parliament, but he's called himself an honorable. He says, Mr. Deputy Minister, to be fair to all, we all called for the head of the Dentroboasi DCE. Should have kept your speech and emotion in check before talking when you hadn't thought it well. It will therefore be unfair to allow you to remain at post after what the DCE suffered. Tribal and ethnocentric comments have no stay in our way of life as Ghanaians. I'm sorry, you must go. Hashtag resign. Hashtag or hashtag get or hashtag fire. Interesting. This could have been simple. Hashtag resign or get fired, innit? All right. Joseph just life at Tuik Nab says it cannot be because this man himself, Deputy Agric Minister, is looking. Okay, all right. That's too harsh. I'm sure Joseph is a northerner, and he isn't happy about that. But let's still stay on issues having to do with disagreement over comments made. The recent row between Deputy Chief of Staff Francis Asenso-Boakye and musician A+ has got some people asking a lot of questions. Now, one such question is, should government officials be engaged in open brawls? We all know, yes, prior to the 2016 election, A+ came out to say, look, I'm supporting the MPP. That's what I've decided to do. But here you have a government official, a presidential staffer, you know, getting into an argument and even going on Facebook to engage A+. Should this even be happening? A lot of people are wondering, where's all this from? Well, William Ofori-Kwachi says A+ or whoever should give us a break. He isn't the only person who voted NPP. He cannot just be spewing nonsense on air. Whatever evidence he has should be channeled through the appropriate investigative bodies. William thinks so. Desmond says Mr. Boakye claims what A+ said is not true. If that's the case, the said allegation leveled against him should be probed. Then the whole truth will come out. So simple as ABC. Florence Okrampa says, yes, after all, he's also human and has blood running through his veins. So one can make allegations against him or her, and you say he or she should be mute just because he's a government official and more of a crier. Is A+ a government official? She's asking. King Gorazo says government officials have integrity, which is more important than any government appointment to protect. So yes, they must speak to or defend themselves against media lies. So you think it's not wrong for Mr. Asenso to come to the public and deal with this matter? Or say Tichi Gabriel says, the fact that they are government official does not mean they're not humans. And every human being has a way of dealing with issues that will defame them. Some will definitely engage you, but it's best when ignored. Ibrahim Tia Kamal says this question is just not relevant at all. The question here should be whether A+'s claims are true or not, like you would do to the NDC government. Nana Ampa says A+ is not a government official. He's making more money today than so-called, okay, those in the useless, well, okay. Laughson Blaking says A plus or C minus, or who should prove his point with evidence, not just posting Facebook videos. And we know that A plus has posted a Facebook video responding to this whole thing. Hackman Emmanuel says A plus should give us a break. He's acting like a PR Stadium NDC counterpart in Kumasi. Koji says he thinks this is nonsense. I thought you'd be pushing for an investigation. He says you guys think you're wiser than God. Okay, I don't know who he's referring to, but Wellington Achichogbi says, where is the evidence? Is it hearsay or just to confuse the nation? All right, Khalil Maestro says this loudmouth A+ guy is still doing what he did to the NDC. He sighs and says, I'm at one corner enjoying every bit of the banter. All right, Henry Eric Kwesi Blaze says corruption at the highest level. Interesting comments you have there, but that's why we have this show, Joy News Interactive, so you can get to have your say on trending issues. We'll take a quick breather. When we come back, there's more, plus our video of the day. Don't go away. Thank you for staying here on Joy News Interactive. Guess what? Today marks exactly 4 years Ghana had a landmark ruling in an 8-month-long election-related dispute at the Supreme Court, and it was over the validity of the presidential results in the 2012 general election. Then opposition New Patriotic Party had argued it believed the results were rigged in favor of the National Democratic Congress candidate, John Dramani Mahama. I remember where I was, and I was keenly watching, and a lot of us were quite disappointed because the ruling was short. We were expecting a very long one, but hey, let's get onto Facebook, find out from you. It's not, too bad to do a throwback. It's not a Thursday yet, but today is exactly 4 years that ruling was delivered. So Sana Mohammed says, I was in my room keenly watching the declaration, but I was disappointed with the outcome because it didn't go in my favor, but thank God the competent team has bounced back and won the December 2016 election. Okay, he thinks with a vast difference. Al Bayan says the way and manner the Supreme Court declared the ruling, he thinks was an embarrassment to the nation. But we must thank Akufo-Addo for the peace we are now enjoying in this country. Desmond Oakley says, I was at home drinking my hot porridge, listening to Atuguba. It was a nice experience to witness the landmark case. I can have something to say to my grandchildren when they pay me a visit. And Buigli Anna says, when Nana and Baumia were flawed. And Kweji, it says, I know Nanado and MPP will not win the case. You mean you knew? Because this is 4 years ago. And Hope Siani says, I was in school. He didn't, have any care. He says, I didn't care about it, period. Noble Basal says, oh, I was at work, working for them to come and chop. Working for who to come and chop? I don't know who he's referring to here, but that was one case. 8 months, we had to, go in and out of court, and then eventually the ruling was given. Saitechi Gabriel says, I was in my room with some plantain chips. So let's do football news. Neymar to PSG, Lukaku and Matic to Manchester United. And now it's Ousmane Dembele who signed for Barcelona. Now these are the highlights of the European transfer season this month. But the deadline for the transfer of players in Europe is approaching. Which player do you want your team to sign and why? Let's get onto Facebook and get some of your comments there. Desmond Oakley says, mine is Coutinho from Liverpool to Barcelona. He says because he will help strengthen the midfield. All right. Khalil Maestro says, I beg Liverpool should give us Coutinho and stop their walla moves. We want him at Barca. Sada Mohammed says, my team is Barca and I want them to sign Verratti of PSG. And Reginald Mahamadu is asking, how will that benefit Ghana? Interesting. Well, that'll be all for the comments there on this particular one. But just let us know. Get onto our Facebook page, drop your comments, and still follow us on Twitter, we are Joy News on TV. Now, my name is Benes Abubeid.